It's been less than a month, and the world is still in shock after the heartbreaking news out of Costa Rica. Malcolm Jamal Warner, the beloved actor, father, and cultural icon, was taken from us at just 54, claimed by the relentless ocean waves. His family, his only daughter, and millions of fans are still grappling with the loss, struggling to come to terms with the devastating reality. In those early days, the story seems simple: an awful accident during a beach outing, a tragedy. Yes, but an accident nonetheless. But as the days went on, the grief started to mix with something else, something darker. Whispers and rumors began to spread, and soon, the idea that Warner's death might not have been an accident at all began to gain traction. The online world exploded with speculation. Fueled by a jaw-dropping claim, Warner had allegedly taken out a life insurance policy worth a staggering $200 million. The question everyone was asking was this truly an accident? Or is there something more sinister behind his tragic end? He had allegedly been quietly holding a life insurance policy worth nearly $200 million, and somehow this fortune had already found its way into the hands of individuals the internet believes were connected to his final moments. For the Warner family, this has been the most painful chapter of their lives. But just when everyone thought the story couldn't get any more shocking, a revelation from one of Hollywood's biggest stars completely flipped the script and turned this tragedy into one of the most explosive celebrity mysteries of the year. In the hours following Warner's death, grief dominated the headlines. But behind the scenes, something much darker was brewing. Social media detectives, entertainment bloggers, and a handful of so-called insiders in the industry started dropping cryptic hints. What was initially considered a heartbreaking loss now had the potential to explode into something far more sinister. The story was shifting. This wasn't just about the death of a beloved actor. It was evolving into something far more complex and scandalous. Accident. It quickly became clear that this wasn't just a tragedy. It could be the beginning of a massive financial war. According to multiple online sources, Malcolm Jamal Warner had secretly secured a life insurance policy worth an eye-popping $200 million. This wasn't common knowledge, not even among his closest friends in Hollywood. The mere size of the sum had everyone talking. How could an actor, even one with years of steady work, justify such an enormous policy? But the plot thickens. Why would someone take out a policy like this? And more chillingly, who stood to benefit from it? That's when things took a dark turn. Some sources began claiming that the payout had already been processed, and the money had already found its way into the hands of individuals who may have been far too close to the events surrounding his final moments. The whispers of a sinister plan were beginning to grow louder. Minds of internet detectives who believed the people involved were far too close to the events in Costa Rica. Whether those claims were true or not, they planted a seed, one of doubt and suspicion that quickly began to grow. But even the most outrageous online speculations couldn't have prepared the public for the next shocking twist. Just when the speculation about the life insurance policy was reaching a fever pitch, Hollywood was hit with a bombshell no one saw coming. Enter Tracee Ellis, the award-winning actress, style icon, and one of the most recognized faces in entertainment. On her verified social media account, Tracee dropped two images that rocked the industry to its core: a marriage certificate and a wedding photo. The documents, she claimed, proved that she and Malcolm Jamal Warner had been secretly married for the last 10 years. And in her caption, she didn't mince words, she came straight out with it. "I am also a widow. I also lost my husband." The post hit like a thunderclap. Within minutes, comments flooded in across every platform. Fans, who thought they knew everything about Warner's personal life, were left stunned. Thought they knew everything about Warner's personal life were absolutely floored. The media scrambled to verify the authenticity of the documents as the world tried to wrap their heads around the stunning revelation. While some hailed Tracee's bravery for coming forward, others couldn't help but question the timing, especially with all the talk about the rumored $200 million payout. But Tracee wasn't done yet. In private conversations reported by insiders, Tracee insisted this wasn't about money. "It's about the truth," she said. She claimed that she had loved him, lived with him in secret, and now, in death, she refused to let anyone erase their shared story. But if Tracee was telling the truth, that meant Warner's life and the investigation into his death had just become infinitely more complicated. And just when everyone thought the dust had settled, Tracee dropped an even bigger bombshell. Bigger bombshell. Until that moment, the public had believed that Warner had only one wife, the woman whose identity had been closely guarded since his death. But Tracee's shocking post completely shattered that assumption. If what she claimed was true, Malcolm Jamal Warner hadn't just been a husband once, he had been a husband twice. With both marriages happening at the same time, Tracee explained that Their decision to keep the marriage hidden wasn't an accident, it was a choice, according to her. It was about privacy, protecting their careers, and shielding their personal lives from the constant glare of the media. She revealed that they had celebrated anniversaries in secret, exchanged gifts away from the prying eyes of cameras, and relished the fact that their relationship had remained a well-kept secret. Even from their closest circles, the truth, it seemed, was far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. But the secrecy came with serious consequences. Friends, colleagues, and even Warner's own family were left blindsided. How could such a huge part of his life remain hidden for an entire decade, and if they could keep this hidden? What else about Warner's personal life was buried in the shadows, never to be revealed? News outlets quickly dubbed it one of the most shocking celebrity relationship revelations in years. Some framed it as a tragic love story, cut short by fate. Others saw it as the opening salvo in a legal and emotional storm that was just beginning to unfold, and as if this wasn't enough, Tracee dropped another bombshell along with revealing the secret marriage. She made it clear that she believed she was entitled to something massive. The marriage revelation alone could have kept the tabloids buzzing for weeks. But Tracee wasn't done. According to insiders close to her, she had already instructed her legal team to fight for half of that rumored $100 million life insurance payout. After all, she claimed, as Warner's wife, she had every right to it. Lawful spouse. She claimed she was entitled to $100 million, but she didn't frame it as greed. No. She called it justice, according to private statements from insiders. Tracee allegedly told friends, "This isn't about taking anything from his family. This is about what he left for me. He wanted me taken care of." The timing of it all, however, sparked a fierce debate. The internet quickly split into two camps. On one side, supporters argued that if the marriage certificate was real, Tracee had every legal and moral right to claim what was rightfully hers. On the other side, critics accused her of exploiting a tragic loss, pointing out that she had remained silent until rumors about the massive insurance payout started circulating online. Legal experts quickly jumped into the fray, explaining the tricky legal landscape surrounding secret marriages. To prove her case, Tracee would need not only to verify the authenticity of the marriage, but also show that she was named or should have been named as a beneficiary. And if the payout had already been processed, unraveling it could turn into a long, messy court battle. But even before the legal battles began, the storm was already raging. Before the legal dust could even begin to settle, another massive wave of drama was about to hit. And this time, it was coming straight from within the Warner family itself. If Tracee Ellis Ross thought her revelation would be quietly accepted, she was sorely mistaken. Just hours. After her post went viral, whispers started to circulate from within the Warner household, and let's just say, they weren't exactly supportive. Sources close to the family claimed that Warner's mother was furious and completely blindsided by the news. Allegedly, she told friends she had never once heard a word about a marriage to Tracee, despite knowing her son for years. One insider described her reaction in stark terms. "She feels like this is an ambush, like Tracee waited until Malcolm couldn't speak for himself to rewrite the entire story." The tension was palpable, and what was meant to be a personal revelation had now become an all-out family feud. Daughter, still grappling with the devastating loss of her father, has reportedly stayed silent in public, but those close to her say she's torn, caught between wanting to uncover the truth and the instinct to protect her father's legacy. As the family's grief spilled into the public eye, it quickly became fuel for the ongoing debate. Supporters of the Warner family accused Tracee Ellis Ross of being nothing more than a money-hungry opportunist. Meanwhile, her defenders claimed she was being unfairly villainized just for coming forward with the truth. The drama was no longer confined to private phone calls or legal consultations. It was playing out in Instagram comments, Twitter threads, and viral TikTok videos, each platform dissecting every angle. And just when it seemed the conversation couldn't get any more heated, the explosive insurance revelation and the intense family backlash sent the situation into an entirely new and much darker arena, one that could carry serious legal consequences. Up until this point, the focus in Costa Rica had been solely on determining the official cause of Warner's death, tragically ruled as a drowning caused by strong rip currents. But now, Tracee's revelation, combined with the massive insurance rumors, was turning everything upside down. Insiders say the case was quickly morphing into something far bigger than anyone had anticipated. Investigators, both in the US and abroad, are now quietly going over every detail with a fine-tooth comb. If Warner's marital status was misrepresented on any legal documents, it could not only affect the insurance payout but could also spark deeper investigations into his financial and personal affairs. Insurance companies are known for being extremely cautious when it comes to multi-million-dollar claims, and with $200 million potentially on the line. This case is becoming a legal minefield. Lawyers could soon be brought in to dissect every signature, every date, and every clause in those documents. And if the payout has already been processed, as some rumors suggest, Tracee's new marriage claim could freeze the entire sum or even lead to the money being clawed back. Until the courts have their say, the biggest twist, if Tracee's version of events turns out to be true, could make this much more than a battle for money. It could turn into a high-stakes legal drama, with consequences that no one saw coming. True. She could become a pivotal figure in any further investigation into Warner's final days, her testimony about their life together, his state of mind, and any possible threats or disputes could either bolster the tragic accident narrative or completely unravel it. While all of this was unfolding behind closed doors, the court of public opinion was already in full force, and it was unforgiving. The internet was about to divide like never before. If the legal battle was intense, the internet was a battlefield. Within moments of Tracee Ellis Ross's revelation, hashtags exploded across every platform. Second wife, justice for Tracee, and Malcolm truth quickly trended alongside memes and side-by-side comparisons of the wedding certificate she had posted. Social media was now ground zero for the battle over Warner's legacy, and no one was sitting on the sidelines. She posted. Supporters flooded her comment sections with messages of solidarity, calling her brave and praising her for standing in her truth. They argued that if she was truly married to Warner, she deserved recognition, not erasure. But the backlash, it was just as intense. Critics slammed her as a cloud chaser, questioning why she had stayed silent for a decade if her love for him was as deep as she claimed. Some even went so far as to suggest she had been strategically waiting for the perfect moment to drop this bombshell. As emotions ran high and insurance negotiations hit their peak, fan forums turned into battlegrounds with entire threads dedicated to dissecting the authenticity of the marriage certificate. Handwriting samples were compared, and wild speculation spread about who in Warner's inner circle might have known the truth. Meanwhile, TikTok videos dramatizing the secret second wife twist racked up millions of views in just hours. The sheer scale of the online frenzy did more than just fuel gossip. It added even more pressure on everyone involved. What began as a personal tragedy had now morphed into a full-blown public mystery, one that raised an even more chilling question. What else could be lurking beneath the surface? In just a few weeks, the story of Malcolm Jamal Warner's death has shifted from a tragic accident in Costa Rica to a complex web of money, secrecy, and jaw-dropping revelations. A $200 million life insurance policy, a second wife no one knew about, a family blindsided and torn apart, and a public divided between sympathy and suspicion. With every new detail that surfaces, the curtain gets pulled back just a little further, but instead of uncovering answers, it only deepens the shadows. If Tracee Ellis Ross's claims are true, Warner may have kept one of the biggest secrets in celebrity history hidden for over a decade. But if they aren't true, then his grieving family faces not just the loss of their loved one, but a fight to protect his legacy from what they see as exploitation. For investigators, lawyers, and fans, the questions now run far deeper than the waves that claimed his life. How much of Malcolm Jamal Warner's world was hidden in plain sight? Who truly stood to gain from his passing? And if a marriage could be kept secret for 10 years, what else did he take to the grave? One thing is certain: this story is no longer just about a tragic afternoon in Costa Rica. It's about the secrets that endure long after the cameras stop rolling, and the battles that erupt when the truth finally emerges.